Good morning, spiritual specimens. What a beautiful day to be alive, isn't it?
Yep.
Isn't it? I enjoy being in it, and I enjoy being out in it. You know, there are times in life when it would be really easy to stay in. Not only in our homes, but within our own physical safety, home. And so what I do every day as part of my spiritual practice to get me out of myself, my physical self, and out into the world, I step out and breathe in. I leave my home, step out the door, and I look around. And I breathe in the day. Because I'm grateful to be alive every single day. I don't know about you. I'm grateful to be in the vertical position. I am. So, when I step out, I notice the environment in which I'm moving that day. It goes beyond the spiritual mind treatment, which is, say, the focus inward. Although it's a nice bit of spiritual food. I do a lot of reading. I have like 7 books always going. Because I find as I open a book, I can pick up a book and go, I wonder what the perfect thing for me right now is. And I can open it up, and I can go to a page. Prayer before the prayer. I want to be willing to forgive. That's what it said. And it's perfect for me. I'm willing to forgive. So by going through different books as I'm reading, it keeps me a little less comfortable and assured at the same time. For me, a spiritual practice is a reminder of my spiritual nature. And it sets the tenor for the rest of my day. One of our teachings in Science of Mind and through our classes is to get into a spiritual practice. And it can be as beautiful as stepping out the door. Stepping out the door. I love the sounds and the smells. We had a beautiful last month with full moons, and we had some rain, and the different fragrances of nature. And isn't it all perfect? It's always perfect. Now, we may want more rainfall, because there are those that perceive that there's not enough. And we may have less than some other years, but we always have enough. We always have enough. We move into a mindful state, and we conserve. Don't we? We might take a half-hour shower instead of an hour. Wow, it's a long time, isn't it? But this morning I stepped out, and what do we have? Fog. And I let it envelop me. Because it's so peaceful to me. There's a quietness about fog. There's a settling of fog. And yet, fog doesn't come this way. How does it arrive? From the earth up, many times. And so, there's that within us when we start a spiritual practice, where the fog of spirit envelops us and says, let's have some peacetime, shall we? The perfection surrounds us always. Where I live, there's animals around. There's a couple of hoot owls. I love that. They're conversing with each other. And the descent of the moon in the morning. I get up so I can see that. I love the continuum idea of life as evidenced by the cycle of our planet. It makes me feel attuned to life and grateful to be in the awareness of the perfection perfection of this life. Because isn't nature perfect? It is just perfect. I've had occasion to go to the Whitmans, Ron and Sharon, in Oregon. And it is, talk about perfection. If you've ever been up near Mount Hood, there is so much beauty of nature, rushing waters, wildlife, preserves, all within about 6 miles of each other. And I think about that so much. What a beautiful place to live. And yet, it's always beautiful where we are, isn't it? There is beauty in every single place. Life is spirit, I like to say, is spot on. It's always spot on, right on the mark. Right on the mark. What a beautiful day to be alive. This weekend is the Snow Goose Festival. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, I read that.
Snow Goose Festival. And if you've ever had an opportunity to go out and experience that call of nature, and to me, when geese and ducks, the fowl of that nature, when they're traveling overhead, you see them in formation, don't you? There is some sort of agreement that they've come to. And that is our theme for this month, agreement. And so, I'll say it's unspoken, it's honked, or whatever, it's quacked, but there's a sense of agreement. And they work as a unit. And there's the lead fowl, duck or goose, which basically is doing all the work. That's the idea out there leading us. But you know what happens? What's coming behind it must follow suit, must take action. And so that goose or duck will drop back, and another one will take the lead. And that's like our lives. We get an idea, and we get tired, and we just drop off. Nothing takes its place. But there is something to take the place. There is another aspect or an assist, person, place, thing to support this divine idea. And so, as with geese then, when we know that, it moves forward to its destination. I love nature. You can tell I love nature. So this is the perfect moment to celebrate our livingness, for the opportunity to invite more of it into our lives, because we're so immersed in it. And it's also a time to uncover the truth of who we are. And just what is this truth? You might want to ask yourself, or me. And how is it to be uncovered? Well, in our teaching Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says, we are immersed in an infinite intelligence, a mind that knows all things. This intelligence can acquaint us with its ideas only as we are able and willing to receive them. Because this mind contains all knowledge and wisdom. I used to think it was, God the person, handing it down. Yep, you can have it, but not you, and not you. But it's not true. We all have equal access. Much again like the geese. We are in formation, and working together, knowing the greater truth, is our access. But before it can reveal its secrets, he goes on to say, it must have an outlet. Who are we? We are Spirit's outlet. We are, through our own receptive mentalities, Spirit's outlet. We think it, we accept it, or we deny it. One of the greatest gifts is volition and choice. I love that. Sometimes don't we choose just to do nothing? Because it's just by default. I'll just do nothing, it'll take care of itself. Oh, it does take care of itself. But without the lead goose, it falls apart. Without the divine idea, things fall away. So what kind of life are we letting out to show up as our lifestyle, as our relationships, our finances? What kind of joy do you have in your life? Do you have joy in your life? I do. I do. Do you like what ye have wrought? Like that. Do you like what ye have wrought? Do you love what you have said yes to in life? And what you have said no to? It's all very, there's a balance in the yes and the no. Well, let's examine what ideas and beliefs and dramas we may hold near and dear. Don't you know folks that live in drama all the time? I work with a woman that just, if she didn't have it, I would miss it. I am so used to it. But her intention is always out of love and caring. But there's always, as Kathy Robbins is often say, conflama, conflict with drama. So, here are some of the ideas. Well, my lesson is one of those ideas. Third time's the charm. There's an idea. There's an idea. Why not the first time? Why not? People use that for dating. Well, third time's the charm. I'll give him 3 tries. Doesn't work out, he's out, or she's out. My older sister, has had 3 marriages. She's on her 4th. 2 and 3 died. But they were all perfect for her. Because as she's in her 4th, she is so appreciative of the perfect partner. And so to live in gratitude, even through all of that, she is my demonstration in my family life. To say, yeah, what might have appeared along the way to be not so good, has equipped her to be so grateful and to appreciate this person in her life. Well, how many of us use statements like, third time's the charm? I've used it. And occasionally it might slip out again, because it does that. Because they're like an old friend, those ideas. They're comfortable. Like a lazy boy. Easy to be in. A few pillows propped up. And we trust them, because we know who they are. We believe in them. We make assumptions about them, don't we? These types of saying come to us, I call them hand-me-downs, because we learned them from someone. It's like old clothes or, leftover casserole. They're hand-me-downs. It's just what they are. They're not an original thought or idea. And if we're not mindful about them, they become the foundation for our belief system. And therefore the way we do our lives. The law of God is to give to all equally according to what the individual believes. What are you agreeing with? What are your agreements in life right now? We are at all times dealing with a spiritual principle. And according to Ernest Holmes, this is it. We are surrounded by infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes more fully conscious of its own being. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. As it passes into our being, it automatically becomes the law of our lives. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Yikes. So who gave it permission? We did. We did. And so we have a choice to let it reign or rein it in. Well, I always like to say that the beginning of the year is like an examination, a spiritual examination. You know, we do a medical examination, but we also it's time to do a spiritual examination. It's quite profound after the New Year's holiday. The examination, in other words, is to check the effects, the outer body of our beliefs, and investigate the cause, our inner thoughts, which activate this law of spirit. Ernest Holmes tells us, each of us is now demonstrating his or her concept of life. So as soon as we recognize the beauty of how we create our lives, the more power we gain over our old and scattered effects. Ernest Holmes, and I say this a lot, there's a power for good in the universe, and we use it. To the degree we understand it, to the degree we know that it's acting through us, we have a choice to do, say, be, live something different. Ernest Holmes says to us, we cannot fight the universe. It refuses to be budged from its course. We can only go with it, much like flying geese. We get the idea, we go with life. It supports us with its air of support. You know, we live in a world governed by spiritual laws, fueled with love as one complete potentiality. Each of us is love and potential, or each love and potential. We have our own list of intentions for this year. And these experiences show up out of our willingness to create life the way we want it. The way we want it. Science of Mind is all about the spiritual nature of the individual. And it's called mindfulness. So I call you to be mindful as you move into 2015. Be mindful of your ideas you put out, that Spirit follows and says yes to. It's what it does. It's what it does. We have an idea, it says yes, and there we go. We take flight. So I share a familiar riddle, and I've shared it before. So, it's new today. New day. And then I'll offer an interpretation from the Science of Mind. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. But try as she would, she couldn't detect which was the cause and which the effect. It's a metaphor for our life many times. So when I read this riddle, what did you see in your imagination? Did you picture a house in the shape of an old shoe? Yeah. With a front door and windows and all kinds of kids, helter-skelter all over the place. And how about the old woman? Frazzled, you think? Yeah. That's the image we got as small children. Well, life can appear that way, can't it? There are times life pulls us in all directions, all at the same time. So many children, she didn't know what to do. So many children, so many directions. When we are desperate and confused, as in she couldn't detect which was the cause and which the effect. I've been there. Doesn't feel good, does it? Have you been there?
Yeah.
Maybe you're there now. You know, it's okay. So we find ourselves standing in confusion. We have the opportunity to remember there's another cause we can consider. That cause is a different belief, different emotion, or action, or all three. There is a great idea, and it's lurking in the shadows of your mind. Give it flight. Let it lead. Martin Luther King said, you ought to believe in something in life and believe that thing so fervently that you will stand up for it till the end of your days. That's what it does. That's what it does. Spirit never backs down. We do. It stands up for our deepest ideas and our deepest beliefs. So the more completely we believe that our thought has power, the more power we will have. It's not our power, it's the power back of the Word. So be clear about what you're speaking and knowing and believing. So, I conclude with the metaphysical viewpoint of the old woman and the shoe. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had quite a few children, and she knew just what to do. With love and law, she never had regrets. She was clear on the cause and loving the new effects. So this is what it does. It does it through us, perfectly, on time, and in the right order. When we get our ducks in line, as the old saying goes, there's another one, get your ducks in a row. In this case, it's a That's what it does. Remember, you are charmed in life, and it doesn't take 3 times. You're charmed the day you're born. Namaste.